We have just begun. We are beginning a very alchemical cycle with the moon conjunct the sun and the fixed star Pollux, which is the evil twin in Gemini. So we have Castor, who is of the nature of Jupiter and Mercury, and then the fixed star Pollux, who is of the pure Mars energy. And this has been activated by the sun and moon conjunction following the first lunar crescent. So the sun and moon conjunction on July 17th. And then we will see the first lunar crescent in the sky July 18th in the evening after sunset on the western horizon, above the western horizon. So I'm Tammy Antoinette. I am an ancient sidereal astrologer. I practice astrology as it was practiced in 5500 BC in the most pure form, translated just recently from the most ancient unspoken languages. And if you want to learn more about this type of astrology, it's based on astronomy. Whenever we go outside and look at the real sky, these are the actual stars and constellations that we will be seeing in the sky as we observe. And it's not modern Western astrology or Vedic astrology, but you can look at my video titled "What is Ancient Sidereal Astrology" to learn more about that. And so it's time to begin again when we see this first lunar crescent in the sky in the constellation of Cancer with bright visible Mercury, and the sun will have moved into Cancer by that time too, by the time we see the first lunar crescent. But first, when the moon was changed in this cycle to come into a new cycle is during the actual sun and moon conjunction, which the modern astrologers call the new moon. And this is actually, the moon is still invisible. We don't see it yet in the sky. And this invisibility period is it's like the 3 days of darkness that happens roughly every 30 days. When we have no moon. It's hidden in the rays of the sun to be under the guidance of the sun, to commune with the sun, to be changed for the next lunar cycle. And this dark moon time that has passed is a time to go within. It's a time to contemplate what we're letting go of, and contemplate what we're ready to begin whenever we see the first lunar crescent. And it's a time for detoxification, for fasting, for prayer, and for cleaning our homes and our closets, things like that. So it's not time to actually begin new actions that we had contemplated during this dark moon phase until we actually see that first lunar crescent show up in the sky. Then that marks the beginning of the lunar cycle, the new moon, the new lunar crescent, when we can put our planning into action. So the conjunction of the sun and the moon with the fixed star Pollux, like I said, it's like conjunct the evil twin. So we have this alchemical reaction that at a very critical degree. So Pollux has always been observed to be merciless, full of plunder, against spirituality, wicked, not discerning between good and evil. And it also gives good speech and many words, and distributes wrongdoings. So yeah, so this is the energy of inner and outer earthquakes and fires to influence the following 30 days until the next sun and moon conjunction in August. And then the culmination of these alchemical energies will be on August 1st with the full moon. So what's seen outside of ourselves in our world environment and relationships is always an expression and a mirror of the inner world. And we can experience this fiery earthquake energy to be seen within the collective emotions, thoughts, and the more personal environment. And so these potent energies exist to show more clearly what's malevolent so that we can take righteous action with sustained passion and effort, first within ourselves in order to create effective change in the reality around us. So it has to come up so we can see it, so we can purge it and say, ugh, I don't want that anymore, no more. And these also reaching culmination just after the first lunar crescent appears in the sky, we'll see Mars opposite Saturn, to be exact, on Thursday, July 20th. So this week is a pretty intense week. And the sun will also oppose Pluto on Friday the 21st. And Pluto all month long is already in a square to the nodes of the moon. So this energy is like, it can be really frustrating and teaching us patience. It's an evolutionary stepping stone from one way of life into another for all of us. So it's, yeah, frustrating, irritating energies, teaching us patience. And it coincides with America's Pluto return, which is still in the beginning stages of the 3-year-long death and rebirth process of permanent transformation, which it began earlier this year. So this can unearth more dark secrets, fears, manipulative tactics, so that we can purge these lower shadows, these low vibrational energies, and make space for higher evolution and shifting into the higher realities. So whatever comes up for you this week and next week also, while Pluto still squares the nodes this week and next week, this week is more exact. Honor it, be happy it's coming up, because you're purging it, and we can move on to a higher place. So yeah, so Tuesday, when we see the first lunar crescent appear after sunset, July 18th, it's time to begin new actions and activities that we had been contemplating during the invisibility phase of the moon. And Mercury is going to be in a rare phase of visibility in this early evening sky with the first lunar crescent in Cancer, after the sun also moves into Cancer, bringing our thoughts and our focus to home and family. So that's the blessing and the gift. And that's basically the way out. If we can like follow that path of trajectory, then that's going to bring us the most grace. And so Mercury in his visibility phase is very rare. Mercury is usually invisible because he travels so close to the sun, and Mercury is only visible around 15% of the time. So Mercury rules our mind, our thoughts, our communications, our speech, our words, our patterns, our programs. So these planets in Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Mercury in Cancer, brings this focus to the home and family, where the gift and the blessing is to really hold the home, the family, motherhood, and our emotions in high regard and high respect and honoring. So remember to hold this as a high priority, especially during this cycle, is what will assist with gracefully transmuting any of these irritating, frustrating, fearful, these are fear energies and impatient energies, into gold. So if you are estranged from your family, or you have disharmonious family karma playing out, then what can help, what is fully supported in this new cycle is the spoken prayers. And that's why we call words, we call it spelling, the speaking, the actual enunciation of words, the use of words, the writing of the words. We're casting spells. So Mercury is the magician, he's the astrologer, he's the he can reprogram patterns. Like for example, Tony Robbins is literally like a small copy of Mercury. He can reprogram him. Mercury can reprogram everything with his words to move you out of the so-called cave and into heaven. So that's the story of Mercury. He manipulated and reprogrammed and repatterned so that he could move he and his mother out of the cave and onto Olympus. What he did was he stole Apollo's cows. Apollo is the light. Nobody steals Apollo's cows. Apollo is the light. Apollo sees everything. So he was called up to be questioned on Olympus, and his mother was so angry, and he said, well, Mom, don't you want to move out of this cave? Aren't you tired of living in a cave? Let's move to Olympus. So he was called to Olympus to explain himself, and he convinced those gods on Olympus to move he and his mother out of the cave and straight onto Olympus. And this is like Apollo is the right brain and Mercury is the left brain. It's the strategic versus the inspirational sides of the mind. And so we can literally repattern ourselves, reprogram ourselves. And in the constellation of Cancer, with the support of the new moon and the sun, speaking aloud, speaking prayers of forgiveness, love, and gratitude for your family. And whether you feel it or not, just speaking, saying the words over and over again for your family, and for the simple fact that your parents gave you life. So you can even recapitulate your whole childhood this way by implanting new memories just from creating it into your imagination. This is the power of Mercury, the power of the mind, the power of our spoken words. So speaking prayers of forgiveness, love, gratitude for your family, and for the simple fact that they gave you life. And this is going to most gracefully alchemize and bless this new cycle into its highest expression for you, for your environment, and for those around you. So this is the art of transmutation. It's divine alchemy is what it is. So we started with volcanoes and fire, and then we transmute it. So it's the application of spiritual consciousness to physical form. And it is so profound that an entirely new form evolves. This is the stepping stone of evolution that we're given during this cycle. And it is irreversible change. It's permanent change. It's the coal transformed into the diamond, the lead of sleeping matter awakened into radiant gold of consciousness. So successful alchemical transmutation requires patience. And Saturn is here to teach us patience, courage. Saturn opposed Mars. Mars is the courage and Saturn is the patience. And they're opposing each other, but it's time to integrate the two into balance and the belief, so we can transform our mind by transforming our beliefs in the power of infinite source of creation that is God and spirit above all else. So this is the hierarchy above the lower level karmic system, which the planets govern and control, and then or influence. And then the stars are the hierarchy, more powerful than the planets. And then beyond that, we have the Time Lords, and then beyond this, and this is this is Hermes' calendar of creation. So beyond this, we have the infinite source, God, consciousness, spirit, rules above all else. And this is where miracles come in. So the radical and permanent transformation affected by divine alchemy may seem miraculous to the outsider, viewing the changed form, yet the alchemist knows that when spiritual consciousness meets physical matter, the world will never be the same again. And this is what we can do for ourselves and what will radiate and permeate our outer circumstances and our environment as well. So for further integration of these beautiful alchemical energies, I'm excited to host a new lunar crescent activation to come together in sisterhood, in the power of and support of community and ceremony. So this invitation goes out to those women who are ripe and ready to leave the shadows behind and come into the light to benefit from this circle of beautiful divine feminine group energy. And if it's not for you, I invite you to pass this invitation on to any woman who can benefit. So you can learn more and RSVP at thestarqueen.com/events. You can go to my Facebook group, Astrology for High Achieving Women Sisterhood, and we're in there in a more intimate space. And the time is ripe to be grateful for the blessings of divine alchemy. So what needs to be alchemized and healed in your life? We're being reminded over and over again how powerful we are as co-creators. So we have the gift of free will, and as we manifest a beautiful new reality, the old must be transmuted. And if you want to go to my blog, I wrote a blog about the divine alchemy of the new moon, and there are prayers on there that I've contributed that you can participate in your own time if you wish. And and also I give personal consultations. So at the moment that you took your first breath, every star and planet were aligned in perfect communication of sacred geometric patterns above and below the horizon. And this reflects your soul's blueprint, expression, and destiny for your entire lifetime. So until just recently, the most pure and ancient form of astrology was used strictly by royalty. It was found documented only in the royal libraries. And since ancient times, dated back to 5000 BC, and still today, the most powerful and influential leaders have had a personal astrologer as their most prominent guide. And still today, aren't we all of the royal lineage as children of God? And so we deserve the evolutionary and alchemical guidance that astrology has to offer, the ancient and pure astrology. So I have opened up space on my calendar for just a few discovery calls to help identify any old patterns that may be holding you back if you're interested. So we can create and customize a plan to support you in living your highest soul purpose and full expression of your soul's most exquisite gifts. And you can live within the optimal attunement and fulfillment that is your birthright. So if you feel called, I invite you to book your complimentary visioning call. And the link is in the description below, or you can book a full consultation with me, and the link is there below. So yeah, subscribe, and you can be alerted to all new content, and subscribe to my blog on my website, thestarqueen.com/blog. And this is in the description also. and that you actually will be alerted there first. I do my writings before I do any speaking, so you'll get it right in your inbox. All right. Stay blessed and be joyful.